Objective, integers. Definition number 1. Integers are counting numbers, their opposites, and 0. Counting numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, so whole numbers, their opposites, and 0. It does not include fractions or decimals. Big number 1. Integers can be used to represent real-life situations, such as temperature, above or below 0 degrees, elevation, above or below sea level, credit or debit, so when you have a plus for money or debit, take away, positive or negative electrical charge when you're talking about science. Let's do some examples. 10 feet below sea level. The key word there is below. How do we represent that? We would write minus 10 or negative 10, 10 feet below sea level. Number 2, a gain of 20 yards. In football, if somebody makes a gain of 20 yards, that is a plus 20. With positive integers, you don't necessarily have to write a positive 20. You could just write 20. It's your choice. Number 3, you spent $75. If you spent $75, that's a debit. It's going to take away, so it's going to be a minus 75 or a negative 75. Definition number 2, opposites. These are numbers that are the same distance from 0, but on different sides of 0. So, opposites are looking at two numbers that are the same distance from 0 on opposite sides. Remember, these are our positive numbers over here, and these are our negative numbers. Examples, name the opposite. The opposite of 1 is negative 1. 1 away, 1 away. They're the same distance from 0 on opposite sides. Negative 2. The opposite of negative 2 is a positive 2, or just 2. The opposite of negative 2 is 2. Again, negative 2 is here, 2 is here. It is 2 units away, 2 units away. Opposite sides of 0. This means the opposite of negative 4. What is the opposite of negative 4? Well, that would be a positive 4. Negative 4 is here, positive 4 is here. 1, 2, 3, 4 units away. 1, 2, 3, 4 units away. And finally, the opposite of 0. Well, the opposite of 0 is just 0, because 0 is its own opposite. Don't forget that. Vig number 2. Number lines can either be vertical or horizontal. This way is horizontal. Think the horizon where the sun is. So this is a horizontal number line. This is a vertical number line. This is generally what we're going to be using. However, if you think about a thermometer, then it's usually a vertical number line. We're going to graph each integer and its opposite on the number line. Remember, to graph, all you do is put a dot on that number. So, 7 and negative 7. These are opposites. Let's graph a 7, put a dot on it. And let's graph a negative 7, put a dot on it. They are opposites because they are the same distance from 0 on opposite sides of 0. 1 and negative 1. So this is 1, this is negative 1. Again, they're opposites because they're one space away from 0 on opposite sides of 0. Oops. Sorry about that. A couple erasers fell. Alright, definition number 3. Absolute value is the distance a number is from 0 on a number line. When we're talking about distance, distance is always going to be positive. For example, if I say I'm driving to my house, it's 25 miles to my house. If I say I drive back from my house, I don't say I went minus 25 miles because it's distance, and distance is always positive. Vig number 3, absolute value is always positive. Vig number 4, opposite integers have the same absolute value. For example, negative 3 and 3 have the same absolute value because they are the same distance from 0. Let's look at example number 9. These symbols mean absolute value. So anytime you see those two little bars with a number in between, that means absolute value. So what is the absolute value of 5? Well, ask yourself, how far away is 5 from 0? It is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 units. So the absolute value of 5 is 5. It's always positive. Absolute value of negative 7. Well, negative 7 is here. Let's ask ourselves, how far is negative 7 from 0? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is 7 units away from 0. So the absolute value of negative 7 is positive. Notice it's always positive. What is the absolute value of negative 8? Well, the absolute value of negative 8 is 8 because it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units from 0. And finally, our last one. Remember, when it has the negative sign, that implies opposite. So this is saying, what is the opposite of the absolute value of 9? So we're going to cover that up. What is the absolute value of 9? The absolute value of 9. 9 is 9 units from 0, so it is 9. Now, what is the opposite of 9? Well, the opposite of 9 is a negative 9. But Ms. Pearson, you said absolute value always has to be positive. Well, absolute value was positive. 9 is positive. We're doing the opposite of 9, which is negative 9. And finally, how do we read integers? Just so you know how to say things correctly. This means negative 3. Number 2, this means the opposite of negative 3. We know the opposite of a negative 3 is a positive 3. This means, because of these symbols, the bars, lines going up and down, the absolute value of negative 3. What is the absolute value of negative 3? Well, how far away is 3 from 0? It is 3 units. So the absolute value of negative 3 is 3. Absolute value is always positive.